Dear devotees and members, I welcome you all this morning for the topic of eternal quest. The talk going to be delivered by Professor Manoj Das of Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Puducherry. Yesterday was the first talk, Quest Eternal Part 1. Today he is continuing on the same subject in the second part. And one more information what Professor has given me is all his talks are available on the website on www.worldofmanojdas.in. So people who are wants to hear other information about the professor or note down this website number worldofmanojdas.in. So with these few words, I welcome you all once again and request Professor to deliver his talk.
So, dear friends, we continue our exercise of catching the star through a handkerchief of mind. You see, it is an infantile attempt, and Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a beautiful simile. Nuner putul sagar mapti jay. A doll made of salt is trying to measure the depth of the ocean. What will happen to it? You can imagine it immediately. It seems to be a satire, but it also has a very deep, profound meaning. Even the doll of salt, when it tries to enter the sea to measure, it becomes one with the sea. It becomes completely immersed and merged with the sea. So even through our mental effort, the gift of mind which we have, when we try to comprehend through our finite mind the infinite is so gracious, it does not disappoint it. It allows it to capture a bit of its aura, its vibhuti, its grace. Yesterday, we have elaborately discussed the mystic view of evolution. How from inconscience we have come up to the stage of very conscious mind. And we had also seen that we do not have any right to conclude that what we have now, the mind, is the ultimate gift of that mighty great power who has initiated the entire process of evolution. The Creator is beyond the creation, above the creation, and far exceeds the creation. Inexhaustible He is. So what we have got, even now are groping through darkness, but if you really ask yourself very sincerely, I am groping in darkness, but for what? For light. So there has to be light somewhere. Through all our pessimistic experiences in life, disappointments in life, we are still hopeful of the next step, the next day, the next moment. So these are the irreversible truths of our existence. And we have seen that the call of the future, the call of what is beyond mind, is expressed through our activities, our thoughts and our ideas through 5 goals: God, light, freedom, immortality and bliss. In some detail we have discussed. Nothing could be really in detail, but at least relatively we have discussed these 5 goals yesterday. As I said, this process of our knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously aspiring for these goals is reversible, not reversible, irreversible. There is no escape from it. In nature, every blooming flower is an effort to exceed its existence and strive towards the infinity, towards the sky, towards the heavens.
Yes.
In human beings, it is not that easy. Our consciousness is a very, very complex, intricate, and terribly, intermixed plethora of ideas, emotions, forces, contradictions. Human being is a strange creature, but in that strangeness of this creature lies the greatest promise which can reconcile all shades of strangeness, all shades of contradictions, and result in some mighty great explosion of truth. That is Sri Aurobindo's idea. Now, when we consciously aspire for something great, something good, something noble, the ingredients of inconscient and subconscient, as we discussed yesterday, in basic, dumb, inane nature, there was inconscient. In vegetable plant, in the plant world of plants, it still was there but developing further. In animals it became subconscient. In man it has become consciousness. But the ingredients of inconscient and subconscient are actually following us very closely. Our consciousness cannot get totally rid of the clutch of these ingredients of inconscient and subconscient. And that is why beautiful ideas get spoiled. A man, we often see, begins with idealism of self-sacrifice, what not, noblest of ideals. After 20 years, 30 years, we see the same man has degraded himself to a corrupt, power-hungry creature, somebody lusty, somebody jealous of others. Where did that idealism go? It is the inconscient which has grasped it, corrupted it. And that is why yoga means a perpetual alertness. All life is yoga. All life is a field of our practicing this great promise that the moment we aspire, really opportunities unfold before us. But this capacity of the inconscient and subconscient to corrode and corrupt our conscious idealism is terribly disgusting. It has been realized by great minds of the ancient times. In Buddha Jataka, there is a wonderful instance of it. It is beautiful, but it is very long. I won't go into it. It traveled to Europe through Arab countries, and Chaucer in 13th century retold the story in Canterbury Tales. In your college life, some of you might have read the portions of Canterbury Tales of Chaucer. I am giving that version, which is shorter version. In a certain city, city-state you can say, one day the king makes an announcement that on the outskirts of the city, in the dense, deep forest, a demon called Death has come to dwell. Name of the demon is significant, Death. Every night it creeps into the city and captures citizens and devours them. Whoever can kill this demon will get half of the kingdom, and the princess. Now there were three young men. They were children of big sorts, and they had nothing to worry in life except to enjoy life, sitting in a tavern, drink and gossip and all that. Now they heard this announcement, and they decided, half of the kingdom, and the princess? Oh, one princess. No, we'll demand of the king 3 princesses. But we will go and kill that demon. Who but we can do it? And armed with swords and sticks, they entered the forest. I will be very brief, even briefer than Chaucer. And they meet an old man, and they start teasing the old man, why are you living up to such an old age? He says, well, Providence, who has given him birth, he only knows when he should offer me death. But why you young people are here? Oh, we are looking for a demon. Oh, if that is the case, don't waste your time with me. Proceed further. At the center of the forest, there is a cave, a small hill and a cave. Inside the cave, the demon is fast asleep now. Golden opportunity for you. Go and stab him and claim the kingdom, half of it and the princess. The delighted young people. Now, the daggers raised, lathis raised. They indeed locate the cave, very dark. With cautious steps, they enter the dark cave. What should they see but a heap of gold, sapphires, diamonds, dazzlingly bright heap. What is this? Oh my God, demon has been forgotten. Now the question is, how to carry this wealth to our homes in the city? Daytime it is not safe, definitely. Wealth tax officers, income tax officers, many things are there, kings, and so what do? We wait here till the evening, but till the evening without food and drink. So the youngest one is sent to the city to bring a cart on which they will load the wealth and also food and drink. As the youngest man, the youngest friend departs, the 2 friends are between them asking, why should we make 3 portions of this wealth? We can divide it between ourselves. Imagine the depth of friendship. And accordingly, they decide on a course of action. The moment by sunset, the 3rd friend comes back, merrily whistling, and he about descend from the cart. They pounce upon him, they throttle him to death. Now, it remains to load the wealth on the cart. Before that, let us make good use of the food and drink. The 3rd friend was no less wise. He too had thought, why should I make 3 divisions of the wealth? I can own the whole thing. And he had mixed the deadliest poison in the food and drink he had brought. So the 2 friends made good use of it, lay flat. The sun as usual went down. Primeval darkness engulfed the forest. The wealth remained where it was. The demon within killed the 3. The demon without remained where it was safe. Now this has happened through the ages to mankind. Great ideals, they have forgotten the incorrigible ingredients of inconscient and subconscient lying within. They just somehow managed to corrupt the entire vision, the idealism. And this is the tragedy of humanity till today. Every constitution of every country is a good constitution. Every 5-year plan, every project is excellent, meant to bring real welfare to people. What happens really? Why don't they bring the desired result? While carrying it out, executing the project, it is something inconscient in the people responsible for executing it, really spoils it. And that always happens. Well, most of the people, they fall victim to this terrible capacity of the inconscient. We can call it demon now. The demon, the hostile being, in mystic terms, they are the hostile beings. Now most of the people would fall into their trap, but some survive the trap. Some take these things, these obstacles, as a challenge a challenge which must be tackled, which must be undertaken, and we must get over the challenge successfully. They are the yogis. But unfortunately, at certain time, they begin to feel that life is full of such challenges, the worldly life. Better I pursue my goal, breaking away from the world. Just, I am being very precise in everything, just the trend of asceticism sets in. Sannyas, a kind of rejection of this worldly life, which is full of temptations and greed, and I must go away from it. I am not touched by the challenges. I pursue my single goal of attaining the ultimate siddhi of life, release from ignorance. Well, that has been almost asceticism and spirituality, unfortunately, I emphasize unfortunately, been identified as spirituality in India. Spirituality means almost asceticism. We have not got rid of this idea in spite of the advent of Sri Aurobindo today, but not only that, in spite of great examples set before him, that life is not to be rejected, life is not an illusion. Once you accept the fact that there is a conscious creator, a Brahma behind the creation, a divine consciousness behind the creation, how can you insult him saying that he has created something false? And if the creation is something false, a product of the creation myself, how can I be truth? And can a false ever realize what is truth? Now, all these contradictions are there, but we overlook these contradictions. It is easy to retire from the life. 2,500 years ago, certainly the original philosophy of India, the Vedanta, which asserts life. In the Rig Veda, as many times heavens are mentioned, so many times the earth is mentioned. Now, the assertion of life, it was unfortunately in the history of this great nation, a time had come where everything has been degraded to ritualism. Just sanskara, superstitions. And the real goal of life, the world is the place where we can have our realizations. These things are forgotten. Buddha came at that time. He was a product of his time. He was more a social rebel than a great spiritual prophet, although he is today taken as an avatar. But during his lifetime, he was struggling against the superstitions of the time. And like, say, Swami Dayananda, he asked, don't read Puranas, read only the Vedas. Because Puranas really, bring in many distractions for you. So many theories, counter theories, sub theories. Don't go into all these complexities. So Buddha also had the right at that time to say, temporarily, don't speak me about the Vedas. I don't understand. Life is full of sorrows. If a house is burning, I don't stand and ask whose house it is, what stuff it is made of. My business is to pour water into it. I see that life is full of misery, full of sorrows. So this is the process, get rid of sorrows. He gave out a wonderful prescription for getting out of the total cycle of death and birth and go back, embrace nirvana. Well, Buddhism for hundreds of years, it reigned supreme. With Asoka's advent, Buddhism was made state religion. State administration and Buddhist officials, they were same. But where is Buddhism? What happened to it? I remember, there is a book of mine, it's more or less popular, National Book Trust publication, My Little India. I have brought in an anecdote there. I am traveling from Varanasi to New Delhi by train. In those days, a train, non-AC, first class compartment. And as I enter the compartment, there are 5 or 6 European tourists with an Indian guide. Now, they are not English or American, they are European. They can speak English, understand English, broken English, charming, but they are not Englishmen or Americans. So, they have just returned from Sarnath. You know Sarnath, the significant Sarnath, where Buddha fought, initiated in Dharmachakra. The first group of disciples were initiated there at Sarnath. And they returned from Sarnath. The Indian guide is only young man, not very young, quite mature. And then they're asking the guide, why did Buddhism did not survive in India? Oh, the Brahmins took hold of their locks and kicked them out. Brahmins hold them, Hindi में बोलता था, and they tried to English and Hindi. चुटी धर के इसको भगा दिया भारत से, India से. I mean, I was listening all the while. I could not control my laugh. I did at first. I tried to suppress it under newspaper. But the leader of the delegation, you can say the tourist group, he observed it. After 5 minutes, the tea wala has come. Gentlemen, would you have a cup of tea? I said, no, thank you, I had it already. Why did you laugh at that time when he said that the Brahmins kicked the Buddhists out with catching their locks here? I said, no, nothing, it was something. No, there is some reason for it. I have observed it. Please tell me. I said, I laughed because the Buddhists are clean 7 people. The Brahmins must have found it very difficult to discover a lock of hair and to catch it and to kick them out. That's why I laughed. And the guide was such a jovial person, he also laughed. He didn't protest, he didn't feel any offense, he didn't take it as offensive. And then after 5 minutes they asked, why didn't Buddhism go out of India? I explained to him as much as I could, you see, the basic Indian philosophy, which accepts that behind and beneath the entire creation, there is a principle of ananda, delight. You create a home not to enjoy sorrow. You create a home to be happy.
Yes.
If Divine created the world, it is the inspiration of delight which must have made him create it. Yes, sorrows are there, but the sum total of existence, when we look the end of the existence, we are incapable of doing that today. But if one could, it will be justified that every moment we are living with the expectation of delight, with hope itself is a manifestation of delight. And that is the basic Indian philosophy. Buddhism gave a contradictory theory, life is a bundle of sorrows. Yes, for a few hundred years, people accepted it. After that, Ashoka compelled people to accept it. But then, the natural psyche of India, the nation's Atma, it did not accept it for good. It gradually rejected it. But it acknowledged the greatness of Buddha himself. He had a role to play, mighty great role to play. And so he was absorbed into the Indian tradition of the avatar, and he became one of the avatars. So that is why Buddhism gradually lost its ground. Now, that is what happened, that life is, and what is most pitiable, what is most interesting is, hundreds of years after Buddhism, there came the great Shankaracharya, an intellectual non-peril, unique intellectual and intelligent person. But I'm sorry to remember a mother-in-law joke. Once a beggar came to somebody's house and asked for a handful of rice. The daughter-in-law said, today is Thursday, it's forbidden to give rice. You come back tomorrow. All right, he's going back. From balcony, the mother-in-law sees the beggar. Hey, come, where are you going back? Why are you going back? No, your daughter-in-law said, today there is no Thursday, so rice cannot be given. Come back. Who is he to tell? Is she the owner of the house? I tell you, I can't give you rice today. You go back. And come to the Thursday. And you come afterwards, I'll give you rice. Now, Shankara said, Buddha is teaching Nirvana. No, that is not the principle. I am teaching Nirvana. My Nirvana is Vedantic Nirvana. So we accept that and not that. Not the other Nirvana. You see, I know I am bringing a great intellect's ultimate reaction to his philosophy to a level where we are enjoying it. But it is true. You see, he interpreted Vedanta, the Upanishads in his own way. He interpreted in such a way the great wisdom of India that everything would appear to be the real Indian Vedantic tradition. It was not. Certainly Nirvana has its place in spiritual pursuit. But that is not the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth has to be found in the whole creation of this world, because what is the purpose for which the providence, call it God, call it providence, call it divine, launched this creation? It's a play of hide and seek. He's lost in it. And the whole evolution is the process of self-discovery. He is discovering himself anew. And that exactly has to be the ultimate aim of the creation. Otherwise, can we accept such an irresponsible entity as God, who created this world, to be left in this half-animal stage, incomplete stage? So it cannot be the ultimate truth. It is believed that Shankara himself realized it. It is said that, if you accept the presence of the divine in this manifested world, you have to accept the theory of Shakti. That is, action, the drive behind action, the power behind action. That is Shakti, a divine principle which is dynamic, which is working. Now, Shankara did not accept this world as true. Jagat mithya. So if it is mithya, there is no Shakti. All that you see as dynamism, actions, they are all illusions, they are humbug, they are nothing. And it is believed that one day, when Shankara was in his lifetime, he was not always accompanied by many people. But however, in a summer noon, 2 or 3 of his disciples and he are taking shelter under a shade provided by a householder, and the disciples tired, they are fast asleep. Shankara feels thirsty, and he sees a rivulet flowing in front of the house, and he walks towards the rivulet to drink water. But it is not as near as it appeared, the rivulet. The mirage light, it is shifting, and he is walking farther and farther to reach it. And he is so exhausted that he cannot go farther. He almost collapses under a tree. And he sees next moment a woman, sobbing young woman, with a jar full of water coming from the river. And Shankara says, "Mother, would you mind giving me a cup of water? I want." "Certainly, my child." So she pours water into his palms, half-folded palms. And while doing that, she asks, "My son, what happened to you? Here is the river, why did you not go there?" "Mother, I have no Shakti." "Oh, at last you have realized the reality of Shakti." She goes away. Suddenly he wakes up to the fact, what did she say? And then and there she composes a beautiful verse in praise of the Divine Mother, Shakti, where she says, "I have been ignorant. Now grant that all the life, the path I have crossed, except as a path only towards you, as if I walked only to reach you. All the hours I have spent in sleep, except that there were meditations for you, etc., etc., etc. All the words I have spoken, accept them as my mantra for you." Now, so we see that again and again, in spite of Buddha and Sankara and hundreds of ascetic masters, we are still clinging to the world. The world is not come to an end. There is a purpose which is unfolding in this world. So, there comes a famous statement of Sri Aurobindo. You open the synthesis of yoga, the inner page under the title you will see, all life is yoga. A daring statement. All life is yoga. Yes, indeed. Because once we accept the proposition that from inconscience we are again marching towards the supreme consciousness, what is happening? Yoga means sanjoga, means union, the process of union. And that process of union is continuing in our life despite our ignorance of it, despite our faults. Those who do not understand it, even in their life it is working unconsciously behind their awareness. Those who are consciously following the path, they fall, they suffer. In spite of that, it is working in there. Every suffering is an addition to the experience. Every disillusionment in life is an addition to that experience of there is nothing but Him. My soul is my ultimate goal. I am going towards Him, and everything else is helpful to me. When help comes, love comes, it comes only from one source. And if the medium of love tomorrow fails you, you are not disappointed anymore. Because the source has not failed you. It was necessary for you to experience this, it has failed you. Some other front will open up. Now, this exactly is a kind of vision which can sustain all of us to whichever station of life we might belong. And you know, divine manifested as a multitudinous creation full of varieties. It is not one single definition by which you can introduce this creation. So variety being the characteristic of this creation, no wonder that there should be various ways of approach the divine. This yoga, yes, it is going on. Consciously, unconsciously, nature's yoga in any unconscious man's life, it is nature's yoga which is continuing. If I am conscious, it is my yoga which is continuing. Now, because there are differences of attitudes, human nature, there are schools of yoga. If I believe that the whole world is God in action, it is He who is working, who is active in this manifested world. I pray, let me become an instrument of yours consciously. I am doing karma yoga. Anybody who is doing karma is not yogi, he is a karmi. But even the tiniest work you are doing, if you are at that time relating your action to the Supreme, you are a yogi, you are a karma yogi. Often we say, for sake of decoration, oh, he has established 5 hospitals, 3 temples, a great karma yogi. Not necessarily. He may be a ego yogi, aham yogi, we never know. You see, he might be pleasing his own vanity that I am the savior of mankind. Not necessarily, but it is possible. But if a single worker was carrying a brick to that building of the temple, in fact there is I might have told you, I don't know, a small anecdote about Konark, no?
Yes,
I told you, I think, last time. Yes. I won't repeat it then. Have all of you remember it? No. Do I repeat? So, when the Konark temple was being built, the king Narasimha Dev often would put a disguise and supervise the works. One day he sees 4 persons breaking stones, chiseling stones. The king is in disguise. So he asks one of them, "Are bhaiya, what are you doing?" He gets very annoyed. "Are you blind? Don't you see what am I doing? I am cutting stone." "Oh, I see." He moved the second person. "What are you doing?" "Well, earning my living, my daily wage." "I see." Third person, "What are you doing?" obeying the king's order. Fourth person, he asks, what are you doing? He's in ecstasy. What a great opportunity for me. I am contributing to the invocation of the sun god upon this earth in my own way. All the four are doing the same thing. But the fourth man is yogi. He is also earning his living. He is also obeying the king's order. He is also breaking store. But he is doing something much more. That explains all life is yoga. There is no action beyond the divine. There is no space and time beyond the divine. There is no energy with which I can act beyond the divine. The awareness of these things makes all the difference. Those who believe the knowledge of the divine is most important. I must see what he is. I must understand what he is. Pursue the path of knowledge. Jnana yogis. And a great Jnana yogi is not who we in society admire as Jnanis. A Jnana yogi is also a man of tremendous faith like the Karma yogi. You see, when Rama was incarnated, divine incarnated as Rama, very few people knew that he was a divine. He was a divine. Vibhishana was one of them. When Vishnu incarnated as Krishna, very few people knew that he is a divine. Bhishma was one of them. But Vibhishana came here to Rama's side camp. Bhishma did not. Why? What is the mystery? Vibhishana was a bhakti yogi. Wherever Lord is, he is there. Go to hell, all your other obligations. Family tie, this, that, everything. They're all nonsense. He is there. I must be with him. Bhakti yogi Vibhishana comes. Bhishma's Jnana yogi. 100 Bhishmas, even where the Kauravas, the victory is theirs because there is Yogeshwara Krishna. There is Patadhararthara. And whatever, it is my ego if I change side. What am I? Where am I before them? A Jnana yogi is actually detached from the superficial action. Now, so we see that Karma yogi, Bhakti yogi, Jnana yogi, ultimately all of them meet at one place. Their faith in the divine. Sri Aurobindo comes is the theory of integral yoga. Now, before that I must come to, what is the time now? No. We started 11:15, no?
Yes.
Almost 40 minutes now, another 10 minutes. So, okay. No bad time. Thank you. Now, what happens is, now there, the integral yoga, that seems the ultimate realization is that of the existence of Supreme Divine. The goal of life is fixed. The world also is a part of divine section. I belong to that plan of his. Hence, all life is yoga. I can surrender my karma. I can surrender my emotion, my bhakti. I can surrender my jnana. I can surrender myself, to say in one word. The jnana I require will be given by him. The karma I am expected to do will be given by him. And the bhakti will be nurtured farther and farther. And integral yoga also has a remarkable point. You see, in ancient Indian tradition, along with yoga, there is another great school, the school of Tantra. Many people are confused about Tantra because Tantra fell into bad days. Just again the nefarious action of inconscient and the subconscient. Bhavamargi Tantra that dominated, and it was something ridiculous. Now, Tantra was a mighty great philosophy. The chief difference, I am just telling in a child's words to other fellow seekers, that in yoga, you decide to you get crushed into the divine. you make a beeline to the divine. You have heard many things which are not conducive, not helpful to you for his yoga. Tantra says, what a mighty courage. If everything is the divine, why do I have heard anything? I will enter the very inconscience. I will enter the most avoidable work, find the divine principle hidden in it. I will get rid of all that is to be shunned, to be avoided. At midnight we sit on a dead body. No fear, divine principle is there. He will eat even the most nauseating thing, divine principle is there. It is a mighty great, project, Tantra. Enter, and the presiding deity and the force behind Tantra is Shakti. Every Tantric is a Shakti. Shakti is there, because Shakti is in action, every action. There is nothing as good action or bad action, because it is Shakti. Once one can develop that attitude, you see, now he becomes a great Siddha. But what happens is, let us have the imagery of a tunnel. If 100 seekers enter the tunnel of Tantra, there are side lanes projected this way, that way, temptations of siddhis, great achievements. Come this way, you will become master of, you will become a person who can subdue anybody. Come this way, you will get a lot of wealth. Come this way, fame is waiting for you. Come this way, you can hypnotize anybody. Now, siddhas come out, but one in 100 or maybe in 1,000 actually goes out of the end of the tunnel, the bright sunlight of self-realization. You see? So Yoga and Tantra now. So in Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga, we find once you surrender to the Divine Mother, she is the Shakti. She is the repository of all the energy of the world, of the universe. And the principle of Tantra meets in Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga. Apart from the fact that once I take the whole life as yoga, my karma, my emotion, my jnana, they all become lined accordingly. They all grow in accordance with this particular vision of mine. Even the supreme principle of Tantra has been harnessed here. The Shakti, repository of my being, the divine Purusha, Sri Aurobindo, and the Shakti, the Mother. Now, in integral yoga, another great step, I know, I'm being very arbitrary in my presentation, but there is no other way out. Now, in normal yoga, you know, Kundalini, all these things you know, it goes, it arises from below towards the my ultimate chakra. In Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga, when you are surrendered to the Mother, you do not know when the Kundalini also begins to arise. And often the light comes from up, it travels down. It can travel from down up. It can also come from up down. Now, there is another greatness of integral yoga, but I need not go into the technical details. I mean, they are in essence technical details, yogic technical details. But if one can follow the three principles of aspiration, aspire to exceed my half animal, half human existence, aspire, and rejection of the tricks of inconscience we have seen how they work, the tricks of the subconscious through greed, through jealousy, through envy, through hatred, through selfishness, all these things, and surrender to the Divine Mother. Then one is doing integral yoga in one's own way, humble way, remaining engrossed in this world. One is still pursuing this yoga. It is simple, at the same time difficult. It is easy to break away from the life of the world, from the material environment which surrounds us, which means breaking away means I am avoiding the challenges of life. It is easy. But remaining in life and facing challenge every moment, and trying to remain calm and surrender to the divine. I will do my best. Mother is one. Don't necessarily say that let His will be done. Yes, that is fine. But let you also try your ultimate best to remain at the height of your consciousness. So if I do my best at a given time and then leave it to the divine, I am doing integral yoga. I need not put an ochre garb, need not cultivate a very long beard, and need not have a choice of this food or that food, but you are doing integral yoga. Dear friends, I think I have just been in time. I think I stop here. Thank you very much. And my friends say that there are questions. Questions, no?
No.
I will go on. No, now let us have questions come. Let questions come.
He has given the time for question and answer.
I have a question, sir.
One thing I make it clear. All that I have said, I believe in whatever I have said. Realization is a different thing. I have not realized much of what I have said. I believe in every word of what I have said. When it comes to questions and answers, I must tell you, I am not a scholar. I am not a pandit. Really, I am a seeker. In my personal life, I am a writer. In my social life, I am a writer. In my personal life, I am a seeker. And as a seeker, I am sharing with you all that I believe in. So, don't be disappointed if I can't answer your questions. I will only try to guide towards an answer, not answer necessarily. Please.
I am standing before the sea, sir, sea of knowledge, but I am a little tapped here. I have some doubt. Sir, what is the significance of Sat-Chit Ananda? How to experience this?
Yes. Excellent. It is a very vital question in Aurobindo's yoga. Sat-Chit Ananda, the Upanishadic term, the Vedic Upanishadic term, what Aurobindo calls the supramental, that the nearest to it. You see, as I told you a little while ago, time and again, Providence has tried to remind us that life is not false. You need not avoid life in order to practice yoga. King Janaka was the example. King Janaka was a liberated soul, and he was a king amidst all the state business. In Indian folklore you will find, I am coming to your answer to your question, but I am building up the bulk of it. In Indian folklore you will see, once a man who has got siddhis, I will come to the siddhis a little after what is siddhis, because now Indian folklore there is a man, he has got some siddhis. Sadhak, one day he is under a banyan tree, he is sleeping, a crow disturbs his sleep. He angrily looks at the crow and the crow is reduced to ashes. He is very happy, oh, I had so much power. And he goes for alms to a household. The lady says, wait. And the lady's husband has come, she is looking after the husband. This man sees what? Her husband is more important to her at this moment than a yogi. So he shouts, are you going to give me alms or not? The lady comes, tut, don't get angry. You can't burn me down like as you did to the crow. You see? I am a housewife. My husband is tired. I am looking after him. I know how much hungry you are. You can wait for 5 minutes. And then he keeps. By that time, he is knowing no good to accept. How did you know that little while ago I had done that miracle? my Guru had given me some insight. I can see what is there in somebody's mind for some time. Nothing much. Who is your Guru? Oh, my Guru is in such and such village beyond the temple. He lives there. Anyway, this man stayed, goes miles and miles and miles. After 5-6 days travel, he discovered the temple. Near the temple, no, there is a butcher near the temple. There is no Guru. He asked the butcher, do you know anybody such and such? I am that man. You are that man? Oh, you are surprised that it's my family profession. My grandfather, father, I'm living idle. But my personal life is different. Now, this is a folk tale. But folk tale has the essence of the truth that it is not what you are doing, but it is the attitude with which you are doing. So he is doing it as a family tradition. He is to maintain himself. He is following the tradition. But that does not stop him to be a seeker. Now, this man has got the touch of Satchidananda, as mystic explain, a man who is liberated from the habit of identifying himself with his own action, with his own, ego, and remembers himself as a soul on its journey towards Satchit Ananda. He is a realized soul. Now, supramental and Satchit Ananda are almost synonymous. They are the closest word to supramental. And what is supramental? Supramental is that state of consciousness which we should arrive in terms of evolution if mankind could collectively aspire for it. And a new force which Aurobindo did his tapasya to bring down gets an opportunity to establish itself in the totality of human consciousness, then a new phase in evolution would have opened up. That phase is the stage of Satchidananda. But individually, many individuals have got the taste of Satchidananda through their liberations, yet remaining in action. Am I clear? Those who are liberated and goes away from life, I am not speaking of them. Like that Guru of folktale, he is in life, practicing the activities of this life, yet he is liberated from them. But they get a touch of Satchidananda. Satchidananda's real work is transformation even of the physical body, for which time had not come. You see, Sri Krishna in Gita, for the first ever time we see a daring proposition. All life is yoga. Even the battlefield can become, Juddha Khetra can become Yoga Khetra, provided you are using yourself only as an instrument of the divine. You identify yourself with the divine's instrument. You are killing human beings. You are doing yoga. Imagine the daring consciousness behind it, the daring proposition. It is only the supreme wisdom can give this challenging declaration. Then Juddha Khetra can become Yoga Khetra. But Krishna stops there. For him also ultimate field is liberation and going away from the world, because time had not come. Evolution has two processes. Individually you can evolve a lot, but collective evolution is dependent also on the physical body. It has to become something more than the half animal, half human body it is today. So that physical evolution will be possible when the supramental or Satchit Ananda is in action, is revolutionizing the existence. So, supramentalization would mean even the transformation not only of consciousness but also of the physical body. So, you see, it is nothing fabulous. Look at the tree. Is it not a transformed body in us? Tree also matter, our body also is matter. But can you say that tree and I am the same? Tree is transformed. Animal is transformed. So the transformation of body cannot be something utopian. For any sensible person who is open to higher ideas, this is quite possible. And so That will be the fulfillment of Satchitananda, but Satchitananda's touch. Realization sans that part of transformation, without the part of transformation, have come to individuals through the ages.
In continuation of what he asked, could we say that in Savitri, in the penultimate book, the
Everlasting day.
Everlasting Day, the soul's choice and the supreme consummation, the voice that comes is the Satchidanand's voice? Can we feel?
Yes, you can say that is the Supreme's voice.
Yes.
So Supreme contains the Satchitananda.
Yes, so it is the Satchidanand.
You see, Supreme is beyond everything. He is in you, he is in cosmos, he is beyond cosmos. Now all terms we use to denote him are terms, but he is not limited to these terms. So he is that, but he is also beyond. I think this one. Yes.
We all believe that greatest truth is revealed in Savitri and life divine. Aurobindo says truth is not shut in a single book like Quran, Bible, Aurobindo. So should we apply even to this Savitri life divine?
I couldn't catch
He
it.
said, louder,
So we all
Pass
believe that greatest truth is revealed in Savitri and life divine. Aurobindo says truth is not shut in a single book like Quran, Bible, Vedas. Right. So should we apply this to even to Savitri and life divine?
You see, what Sri Aurobindo says, that is, he says that because he had to write Savitri and Life Divine. If truth are all contained there, Savitri and Life Divine would not be required. Am I clear?
Yes.
So you can say, definitely, Savitri and Life Divine are the latest revelations of truth. But who can fathom the divine sight? Who can say that divine has expressed all of himself in Life Divine and Savitri? He is inexhaustible. Even Mother says that. He stops saying that what is beyond supramental, who can say that? He is inexhaustible. So we can say that. But certainly Savitri and Life Divine, Mother says there is nothing under the blue sky which can be compared to Savitri. I say also as a humble seeker, child of the Mother, there is nothing under the blue sky in terms of wisdom which can exceed Life Divine. Everything is there in Life Divine. You said about truth being, it reminds me of in 1903, one Sunday in a church, a father declared that everything that is to happen in future has been in Bible. One Christian seeker stood up and said, Father, I believe many things are yet to happen. For example, one day man can fly. Blasphemy, sit down. Flying is the privilege of angels. 3 years later, this man's name was Milton Wright, Father Milton Wright. His son, the Wright brothers, flew the first aeroplane. Now sometimes nature slumps also. This our taboos and our, egoistic proposition, I know everything, or my book, the book in which I believe that contains everything. They are an extension of our ego only, nothing else.
Even in the supramental manifestation book of Sri Aurobindo, he has said there is miles to go.
Would you say that Sri Aurobindo, through all his writings, including his essays on Gita and Life Divine as well as Savitri, in essence, it is what he was experiencing, and some part of it was getting lost in the words, because words do not communicate. And then the person who is receiving the word, it depends on his state of mind also. But essentially, in essence, eventually, Life Divine and all writing of Sri Aurobindo has come as an experience in the heart.
They are all his experiences. Savitri, Sri Aurobindo's mother would say, what she has experienced at night, Savitri recounts in the daytime. Sri Aurobindo has composed them. Now, Life Divine's mysteries I mean, this is something very charming mystery. As you say, much depends on our receptivity. You go on reading Life Divine, it goes on unfolding its wealth of knowledge. The horizon goes on extending. Just as you can't catch the horizon, you see, you cannot just miss the fact that it is an ever-expanding field of dynamic knowledge. The same words, as you understood them, they reveal new meaning and they become more significant to you as we grow along with the word. It's a buck in its perfect role, Bhak Shakti. A louder.
Common man, how can we follow the yoga in day-to-day life? Taking small things and saying,
That is exactly, I try to explain through the anecdote of Konark. What was he doing? He was no more, no less or no more common than you or I. He was cutting stone, yet he was doing yoga because in his attitude, he was using his own energy which is given to him by the divine, an occasion which is given to by the divine, and an opportunity which is given to him by the divine to contribute to the building of the Sun Temple of Konark. So he was doing yoga. So in everyday life, you are cooking, you are sweeping. In Sri Aurobindo ashram, when I first came, I would see a retired High Court judge, you see, cleaning the dishes, a liberated soul whom I knew to be a liberated soul, an old order of, he was a Babaji and belonging to the old order, but a realized soul. He had guru, he had disciples among the Rajas and big people. And so, washing the dishes, and that another great man sweeping the ashram floor. So all that has been given to them by the Mother, the work. It is because every work, small or big, belongs to the divine. No work is, these are all human prejudices, that this is a lesser work, this is a superior work, inferior work. So a housewife is in perfect position to pursue yoga when he understands that this house was not built by him. You didn't decide with which parents you will be born. It was given to you. You didn't decide who will be your child. You did not go to the supermarket and choose. You can choose any item. You did not choose your character of your child, nature of your child, color of your child, formation of your child. Now everything is given to you by providence. So still in our ego we say, this is mine, that is mine, I have done it, my will. That is where the problem comes. But once I am liberated through my practice and attitude from that kind of problem, then you are doing yoga. Thank you.
The confluence of Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga is life. And regarding Sakti, it seems bit higher, it's bit more difficult. How can one practice?
Shakti is the simplest thing because you are yourself capable of asking this question because the Shakti is there within you as energy. Jnana is there within you which helped you to formulate the question. Faith is there in you because you are asking the question to me. You are already practicing an integral yoga. Only thing is you are not conscious of the fact that you are doing yoga. And Shakti is always with us. As Shankaracharya proved at the last instance, no? That why couldn't you go to the river is there? Mother, I have no Shakti. So because of that he could not reach the river. So I cannot do anything bereft of Shakti. Only thing is I recognize the Shakti to be the providential divine mother's action within me, her vibhuti within me. So Jnana, Karma, Bhakti, There are no contradictions. You see, when I have the jnana that there is divine, automatically I am full of my adoration for him. Automatically I will be happy to act for him. Right? Psychologically. So, it is a conscious attitude, a practice which makes it yoga instead of the ordinary day-to-day experience, flat experience. So we are in a position to integrate bhakti, jnana, karma every moment in our life with the help of Shakti. So practically when says Aurobindo, the more we concentrate on this, first when I read it, all life is yoga. What does Aurobindo mean, all life is yoga? More and more I am yet to explore the full meaning of this all life of yoga. It is such a great truth. That is why I made it a subtitle to his synthesis of yoga. Synthesis of yoga, where he combines the essential traits of all these yoga and make a synthesis of them all. And the sum total of the theory is all life is yoga. Nothing is bereft of the potentiality of being practiced as a yoga. It is all our attitude and faith. So they can be combined, and Shakti is the closest, nearest, like your mother in your life, in your childhood. Your mother as Shakti was the closest person to you. Later on it may be different, but without the mother he could not have been here at all today. So just as Shakti's most intimate relationship with you is through the mother institution, it is always with us. We don't recognize it. Our ego says, I am doing this. Who am I? Any moment I may be bereft of Shakti. So, in everything there is Shakti. Thank you.
Just wanted one or two sentences from you on the role of the heart in yoga. The heart.
Yes.
Yesterday he was beautifully telling, and in one place, when King Ashwapati attains nirvana, all his other parts of the being accept, but the heart doesn't accept. So what is the role of the heart?
That I won't go into that context because that's a elaborate context.
What is the role of the
heart is, you see, now one thing you have to remember, that all our faculties can be directed towards the divine. Heart is the seat of emotions. Emotions comes handy to be ecstatically charmed by the divine's touch. And that is why when Chaitanya brought the flow of love, it is the heart's udbelo, as they say. It is the overwhelmed heart which is responding to the Krishna's fruit which could be heard. He was unsteady. He was in ecstasy. It is believed even that ultimately he embraced the sea, and but 3 times he lost in the sea, confusing with emotion the sea to be the body of Nila Kalebara. He is the Krishna, and he was embracing Krishna. Now, so emotions which are generally exercised for human relationship, when they are turned towards the divine, that is the biggest contribution of heart towards our bhakti yoga. Physical actions which are generally used for my own satisfaction, my family satisfaction, my career satisfaction, when they are turned towards the divine, they become the field of karma yoga. When I seek knowledge not for my career promotion, not for writing PhD thesis, not for getting honorary delete from this university or that university, but my knowledge is for sake of my own fulfillment. I am unfulfilled. I must be fulfilled in my knowledge of Him who is disguised individual manifested as I. Now that becomes my yoga of Jnana Yoga. So, practically speaking, heart is, as in one of the aphorisms Aurobindo says, that that very, very well. 4 great events of the world. There are many great events, but 4 events of the world, I am not going into details, that people don't believe that Krishna was there. There was any. But Krishna's incarnation opened the possibility of approaching divine through as many emotions as you can. Prior to that, there was tapasya, jnana more than anything else. You identify yourself with Jasoda or Devaki. Krishna is nothing but a child for you. This child may show the whole universe in his tiny mouth once in a while, but you forget about it again, and you are his child. The emotion of affection for the child, the mother instinct has become now tied to the divine. Now identify yourselves with the cowherd boys of Gopo. He is your comrade, he is your friend, he is your playmate. Identify yourselves with the damsels of Gopo. Who are these damsels of Gopo? Liberated souls who have come down to earth temporarily because they know that Vishnu is going to be incarnated as Krishna to get his physical touch upon the earth. The gopis are not the dancing damsels of Hindi and Tamil films. You see, Krishna was only a little child when he was playing. Rasalila is at another level. It is not the physical level. Krishna departed, he was not even educated. After killing Krishna, his father sent him to the ashram of Sandipan in Ujjaini. So he was, and there Sudama, etc., all these episodes take place. He was a little boy. How can he dance with 16 to 17, 18 years old girls and 20s girls in 20s in their voluptuous condition and all that? That is a different Rasalila. But all the gopis loved him as a child. They loved him as their lover. Beloved in a different sense altogether. A high level of love, which is impossible to describe humanly. Which only touch of that love can come to you when you study Savitri, meditate on Savitri. Now, identify yourself with the gopis, you become lovers, the liberated souls. Identify yourself with Arjuna, friend, philosopher and guide. Not only friend, like our boy. So, all the end, like with Uddhava, he is a disciple, a guru. Now, all the human emotions could be directed towards the divine. Krishna manifestation, Krishna avatar, that vividly illustrated it. And spirituality, scope of spirituality became almost vast with his incarnation, his coming. And heart is the seat of all these emotions inside us. The great work of heart. Now, I think, thank you very much. I know your seeking is genuine and great. My condition is, my knowledge is very limited, if that all there is knowledge, and time also is short. So, thank you. All the beautiful questions you have put to me. Yes.
You review this?
Yes?
Yes.
So, you don't want to be recorded.
Last 2 days, that yesterday in the evening and today, we have had a wonderful journey, very simply conducted, very difficult journey, and there is no hardly any scripture he left behind not touching, from the first chapter of Life Divine to the Divine Life, the last chapter of Life Divine, and even full of Savitri, essays of the Gita, the mother, aspiration, rejection and surrender, the little book, everything he has covered. It is impossible to even say to you, sir, thank you, because that would be too scanty even to say that. We are extremely grateful that you have really accepted the invitation that was pressed through by Madanda.
Yes.
Yes.
No, you did. You
And
did.
you agreed also to reschedule it by a few days. And it was great of you, sir. So much we have got to learn from. He says he is not a scholar, but take it from me, the most scholarly speaker of Pondicherry
Yes.
is he.
Yes. Yes.
No two debates about it. He's the humble way, the way he expresses and explains himself is his greatness. And if you read any of his books, so decisive and incisive way he has argued out is any book that he writes, you will find out that what is the depth he's referring to. We would request you, sir, to come here again and again.
Yes.
I know you are very reluctant to leave Pondicherry, and you never have left Pondicherry on darshan days. These are some of your great records that you have, but there are some tour seekers outside, and they would also like to benefit from your vast knowledge and the range and scope of which is so immense. Please do take our request, sir, to come here as often as you can.
Yes.
Please do come, sir. Don't say no. Yesterday you said, if there is a next time, there has got to be next time, sir.
Yes.
Don't say no.